Thank you for browsing page 121. Today we're going to take a look at the next issue of Journal of Travelers' Society by Mongoose. This is number 14. The Mongoose JTAS offerings from 13 through 18 was the first Kickstarter I backed. I have the other 12 in PDF, but these were the first ones I actually got in physical form. And so let's take a look at what you got. You get the fine slipcase, slip being the operative word there as they all fell out. And there we have our cover with a Vargir and either an Aslan and another Vargir in a firefight, maybe with Jodani based on the helmets. So let's take a look at volume 14. There we have the table of contents. This was published in 2025. And this, as I said, was part of the Kickstarter. So there we have Nadia Correa, an Imperial border world bordering either the Aslan Hyrate or the Vargir Extents. So it could be Aslan or Vargir. This lady likes shiny things. She's kind of like a raven in that regard. She just wants shiny things. She wants jewelry to be seen and used, and tends to do the whole I'll take it from people who are just hoarding it and I'll sell it or display it myself. Interesting character. This could be a really good NPC and would fit in pretty much anywhere. And then we have a nice jeweler's tool set and a look at her shop. Nice image of her shop. And then we go to the bestiary. Skorzing. Skorzing are jellyfish type creatures, translucent sea creatures with 5 hanging tendrils. Beware. The Gizmat. They're a swarm-based life form that exists only to consume. They have 49 hits. These are big guys. Oh, a tiny worm-like creature covered in thick skins. Oh, the horde itself must be worth 49 hits. Okay, yeah, the swarm is worth 49 hits. Finding Immortality. This is a nice Charted Space article. The immortality of using the personality chips, which is a big part of Traveler's Singularity. How you can keep yourself alive through chips going into other bodies. Interesting idea. It's not something I necessarily want to explore in my Traveler campaign, but I am enjoying reading about it. A tour of the Free Trader. So this is the most common one. Most common starship in Charted Space is the Free Trader. So here we get a nice tour of what they are. I like that. The Luriani from Highguard. They're aquatic humans changed by the ancients to live underwater, work for them. I always like the Luriani. They're over on the other side. They're in the gateway area. They're on the other side from the Spinward Marches, but I have used them in games years past. I like the Luriani a lot. And here's a freighter for Luriani naval use. It's a 40-ton hull with a thrust of 8, pretty quick. And then nice top-down deck plan for it. The Errant class Ketch. It's a courier designed to move fast. These things, of course, have a lot of mass inside of them because of all the water. You have the same thing with uplifted dolphins in space and stuff like that. Tracy class Longship, a Jump 2 freighter. And there you go. I like the look of that ship. Nice and sleek looking. Very torpedo-like. And then we got a bestiary, the Chiger, a vicious pack hunter. Does that mean they hunt packs or hunt in packs? Standing in 2 clawed legs, large wings. They are worth 29 hits. And pretty good. Fast metabolism. The Mui Empire. This was really neat. This is at the rimward end of the Five Sisters subsector, so kind of in my neighborhood where I'm running my game currently. And we took a look at the species in JTAS 13. Here is their empire. This was pretty good reading. I enjoyed this. We get the brief history of it, the various capabilities, current relations, and then we look at their main world, starport. There's an Aslan colony. And then the Olean are large aquatic mammals that inhabit the oceans of Ochikate and are the source of a number of cultural myths about sea dragons. It's a pretty big guy there. Gray Lung. This is something that's airborne. It's a taint in the atmosphere on Niue. So some of their natural abundance also contributes to the planet's greatest threat. It's carried by the planet's prolific rodent population. So beware brain lung. Don't want to get that. And then some adventure hooks that you can have for there. And then we get cold calling. It's intended to be set in the ARA system in the Starlane subsector of Deneb, but this could be changed to suit the campaign. So nice little adventure there. I like this adventure actually. This is, I said little adventure, it's not. It's kind of a long one. The after party, the top-down deck plan, and a home in the ice and what we do inside the adventure. I like this adventure. This would be multiple nights, at least at my table. There is a lot to explore here, and it actually feels like a kind of a dungeon crawl, which is not a bad thing in my mind, by the way. I don't want to do a lot of dungeon crawls in Traveler, but I don't mind some, and this one definitely feels like a dungeon crawl. You end up in the ice and going through an old labyrinth beneath the ice and finding the remnants of an old civilization. You even end up on an underground lake. Pretty neat stuff. And the stomach spitting worm. This guy's nasty. 120 hits. Be careful. It actually does spit its stomach, or one of many that it has. Okay, continuing on our article. We're in the Well of Tears now. Very Indiana Jones sound to it. And then continuing out, very long adventure. And then we have a black powder rifle that comes to play in this. The Aeon's Tomb. We end up in a labyrinth. There's a picture of the labyrinth. What is going on? And here's the explanation of what's going on. Just a good adventure. I like it. And again, transferring mind states. So this is another immortality through computers. Kind of interesting. I liked it. I could see a lot of uses for this adventure, and some of the elements in here just taken out and used in other games. I definitely see the value. And here we have the various players in the adventure. Troubled waters if the players are defeated, returning to Juno. And there's a handout for the after party. And then we go to the Church of the Chosen Ones, a fanatical Vargir sect which believes the ancients not only invented the Vargir by genetic manipulation of Terran carnivores, but returned to the Vargir several times, improving the species to the point that they could take their rightful place as the leader of charted space. So if you want a charted space run by Vargir, join the Church of the Chosen Ones. And there we are. And they have actually access to a couple of ancient artifacts that prolong their beliefs and the fact that they're genetically superior, and it's pretty neat. Oddball Crew, the Starhammer, the Shield-class Far Trader. It was a short run of 200-ton displacement starship found mostly around the Vargir extents. It is a thrust-to-jump-to ship. We get a nice top-down deck. I like the look of this ship. Looks like a horseshoe to me, but I like it. Okay, it's got some quirks. All good ships should. There's the crew. Lots of good things. You can just take one of these guys and plug them in anywhere you want. I like the robot. The economy utility robot, 700Z5, all they're known as Z5, and some interesting stuff about him, and you can plug him in anywhere. The Obelpan, species whose survival is almost a complete surprise, basically tribbles. And then smuggling. I like smuggling in Traveler. Obviously, that's kind of the bread and butter of Traveler, but a good article on smuggling is always welcome. Dealing with customs patrols, dealing with ship sensors. A lot of information on sensors in here. I did like that. Chemical sniffers, false positives, dealing with starports when you're trying to smuggle, getting the stuff through. Smuggling adventures, some good adventure hooks in there. And finishing out a very long article there. And then we have primitive power armor. These are early versions of power armor, or lower tech. So planet sees, a culture sees that power armor can be a thing, and they do their best with their limited tech to try to replicate it. And you get the different types of armor. I like that one. That one's my favorite. The advanced ratchet armor. And a battle rig, ratchet armor itself. Fad diets of the Spinward Marches. This was kind of interesting. Just different fads that come and go. And there'd be a ton of those in charted space, especially because you're moving around so much, the fad would spread. So what was old on this planet a year ago might be new on another planet because it just got there. So kind of neat. I like the idea of fad diets. Don't know how much I'll use it, but that's something that might find its way in incidentally into my game. And then we have shipboard transport. How the crew members move stuff around, move their cargo around. So do they have a ship's cart? Or do they move around? Do they have a ship's vehicle? A little scooter? That's interesting. A bicycle, ship's bike. You just get on your bicycle and pedal. Grav cart for moving people and materiel. And there we get a nice depiction of it. A ship's bot. And then the cargo lifter. I like cargo lifters. Those are not credited enough in Traveller, I feel. So I was happy to see that. So there you have it. That's a look at volume 14 of the Journal of the Traveller's Aide Society from Mongoose, 2nd edition. $24.99 for this handy little book. I like these a lot. I love JTAZ. Still one of my favorite things about Traveller in any incarnation. I've always liked JTAZ. It's fun to read. So let me know what you think. If you use the Journal of Traveller's Aide Societies, and if you just pick ideas from them, or maybe you run the whole adventures out of them, let me know. I'd be interested to leave it in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. Tell your friends, let's keep growing the channel. But that's all I've got to say today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.